round one with my awesome friend and colleague, Austin Burke from We Make Visuals. How are you, Austin?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Austin and I met at our Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce, RBC group, Original Business Connection group, at Hooligans. We meet every Wednesday. So he is one of the people that I get to network with weekly. And how long has it been since we've seen each other now, face to face?
Oh, that is a good question. Is it 7 or 8 weeks now? I'm like losing track almost.
I feel like I think it's been 9 weeks, but I could be wrong. All I know is that I'm so ready to see you guys because I'm so used to seeing you guys weekly, and I don't get to see you guys, and now I'm sad.
Yeah, it's been really weird. Like with us doing all our meetings now digitally, it's like, oh, I'm excited. It's like, oh wait, no, I'm still gonna be at home.
I know. The thing is, I think they put those rules in place for people like me because I feel like the first time we all get together, y'all are getting like deadly hugs from me.
That meeting's gonna have to be extra long so everyone can just
Extra
be
long.
happy to see everyone.
Absolutely. So, Austin, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I run a video production and photo production company called We Make Visuals. We help businesses pretty much figure out not just how digital marketing materials like photos and videos can help their business, but like what problems they can solve.
Awesome. And how long have you owned the business?
So this has kind of been a new venture for me. I started out shooting a little over 9 years ago,
Mhm.
and about 5 years ago, I went full time freelance working with larger agencies in Orlando. Before recently moving back to here in the Port Orange, Daytona area. And I just want to be close to the friends, family, the beach, and not have to deal with I-4 every day.
Yeah,
So yeah. um,
I hear you.
and so I started We Make Visuals, which was a little more focused on less of working through ad agencies to work on, these campaigns for larger brands like Coke and Yard House, to work more direct to business. And I
Mhm.
think that the main thing that drove me to do that was honestly, it's like having our weekly meetings. I feel like when you work in the community, you really get to know everyone, and just those personal connections and seeing everyone succeed is a lot more satisfying.
Oh, heck yeah. Absolutely. And so for me, when I think about our group, you're definitely one of the younger entrepreneurs in our group. You're also super busy. You do a lot of traveling. There's so much to what you do that sometimes I don't think everybody realizes everything that you guys do. First, tell me, like, break it down. Give me like a couple of bullet points of exactly what you guys do so people can understand.
Yeah. So the big thing for us is we don't just kind of make a video. We make a solution. Is that what I say? We'll come in and actually figure out how a video could help a business. Whether it be the biggest one is basically a video business card or about me video that tells what your business does and why you do it. Because I mean, we love to work with people that are passionate about what they do,
Sure.
and what better way to show that than a video? I mean, obviously, right here we can see just how we're interacting, how we're responding to one another, a way that kind of just like text or just a basic photo can't do.
Right.
So we'll come in and find a solution. It could be something like that. It could be training videos. It could be product videos. And then we figure out how we're going to get it done. Obviously, we have the whole pre-production phase before we even move in the film in. Then there's the whole side of post-production as well, where we take everything we filmed, we edit out all the ums and uhs and the pauses, and make you all look the best that you are, and give you a finished product. And then the final step, because we don't just stop there, is to make sure we help you implement it the best way, so it's actually gonna get results and do work for you. Because the last thing you want to do is have a video, just throw it up on YouTube, and you get 15 views.
Right. So before this, you were doing a ton, before COVID-19, not this, before COVID-19, you were doing a ton of traveling. And I know you traveled right up to the point where they said, hey, kind of stay out of certain places. And even
Yeah.
before they locked us down, where we were just starting practicing social distancing. So how has that changed for your business? Are you guys, I'm sure you felt COVID-19. It's to some degree, but was it a positive, negative, and how have you guys adapted? Have you adapted?
Now officially I can say yes. It definitely was a change. Leading up to the month where everything kind of started, the snowball effect happened, things started
Mhm.
closing down. We had a lot of work for convention coverage and event coverage. Obviously, without these conventions and conferences going on, there's not really a need for us to be there. Otherwise, we're just filming it in an empty conference hall,
Sure.
um, which does no one any good, really, other than maybe the convention center. So, so a lot of that, got canceled. And I mean, even now for the foreseeable future, we're not really sure when those things are going to go back to that or wherever the new normal will be.
Sure.
Um, so what we kind of changed is to focus in a lot of work of repurposing old content for clients
Mhm.
and Zoom call conferences and just all these video chat conferences that are people doing and finding ways to edit them to still give people a message to share. To let people know, hey, we're still here and we're still doing things. We may be doing them differently, and this is
Mhm.
how we're doing them. So that was one of the biggest changes, going from a less on production to more virtual production approach to things. Not just that, we've now started going to a few locations where we actually are allowed to film and have crews, but those crew sizes have drastically changed. The roster of people that I can bring on for shoots also drastically has changed as I want to make sure any crew member I'm bringing on, is tested and safe. We have to have, masks, plenty of hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes. We're making sure we stay clean to, just protect everyone else that we interact with and just making sure we do the most minimal crew size possible. A couple months ago, I mean, we were on a shoot for an ad campaign um, that had 25 people. Those shoots I don't see coming back right away, and for obvious reasons. So now, my most recent shoots, it's one, two people generally, um, just to make sure our footprint is small as possible.
Right. Absolutely. So what how do you do that on site? So everybody has their role, right? You've got 25 people doing a multitude of things. Are there just some things that are kind of
Yeah,
those not being done anymore, or
they're not being done as much, or the scope of them are changing. Some of these projects where you would have these 25 people crew, you're now scaling down what the expectations are, what can be done, because obviously those 25 people were needed. Um, so it might be a scale, the deliverables that we create um, might not be as ambitious, and we just have to then sit down, and it's another critical problem to solve for us on how do we create something that's creatively compelling, that tells a story, but doing it in a way that is safe.
right? So like right now, and obviously we're using this platform, right? Um, and we're seeing a lot of people obviously go to digital, go to
Mm.
social media. What's the benefit of going through someone like you? Because I see people will like record things and it's great. We're going live for a very short period of time, but there is a professionalism that's missing right now as people are jumping into this very quickly just to try and get content out or whatever. So, what's the benefit of someone coming to you? I mean, I know you do a lot of product filming as well, but just tell us a little bit about why go through a professional. I think that's really important. We have so many different um, resources to do this kind of stuff, but I think for the immediate, it was okay, but we definitely need to think about like what we're putting out, the content, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, like, when this all happened, everyone jumped basically to whatever they could to stay in touch, to let everyone know we're still there, and, honestly, that's great. I'm really happy that people are doing that, and if anything, I think it's good for me because people are starting to see what all actually goes into a production. It's not just set up a camera, maybe throw up a few lights and hit record. So really coming to me, you're getting the expertise on how to tell a story both visually and, in a compelling manner.
Mhm.
All those pitfalls you don't obviously have to tackle. Um, we obviously offer, I guess the best way to describe it in this sense would be a one stop shop in that sense of concept creation and then publish in the sense of how they actually use the video as well. And that's kind of the main thing. I don't want to be seen just as another videographer. We're not here
Mhm.
to just create a video. It's a product, it's a solution. And that's the advantage here. Because at the end of the day, even with these, daily cell phone check-ins with your clients and stuff, they all have their place and their purpose. And I don't think they're going to go anywhere. If anything, now that more people are getting introduced to it, I think it's going to become more popular.
I foresee that. I've had a couple of people ask me to do, because we do a lot of consultations, and
Mhm.
ask me to do virtual consultations where before I would have never dreamed of doing that.
Yeah.
Now my customer has a tape measure and is walking me through their showroom or their business, and I'm talking signs and, hey, well, just measure that for me and give me this and that, and it's working great, right?
I
So
mean, I've had a few consultations for clients where I basically walk them the process of setting up, uh, whatever, working with whatever lighting they have, whether it be an LED light they bought from Home Depot or Lowe's, or even just window light, and it's knowing how to use that light, how to get the best audio for these virtual calls.
is there a situation or that you went through COVID-19, like a solution like that that you just thought was really neat?
Um, Sorry, can you rephrase the question?
I didn't ask it properly.
It's not
It's
stir
like
crazy. It's
one on
getting
one.
it's
So, was there a situation or a challenge during this COVID-19 period where you guys were able to find a cool solution through this kind of platform?
Oh, yeah. So a good example of that is I filmed for the Florida Dairy Council, and again, leading up to this, originally we were supposed to be creating a new content piece for them.
Hmm.
Um, we were gonna film some content of their grant program at the schools across the state and at some of the farmers' locations. Now, obviously, with this all going down, the schools closing down, it just
Sure.
that was not a possibility. Um, So the thing for us was a mixture of going through an archive of footage. They had archive of footage that I had shot, and pretty much using it almost as like a stock library of footage and repurposing it in a way to tell the story they wanted to, that still seemed fresh.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so yeah, that was a challenge because I mean it was about a weekend before the project was about to start, and obviously we had to change gears and foot in to figure out how we were going to handle this and tackle this project.
Now, did you shut down at all, or were you still working throughout the whole period of COVID-19?
For us, I have a home studio that I've been shooting a lot of products through still, which has been helpful in that nature because it allows pretty much things to be dropped off, and I can basically just do a video call like this to kind of show the client the process and the results that we're doing, so they can keep an still feel like they have a amount of control on what they're getting and that they're happy with what I'm photographing or recording for them. So that didn't slow us there as much, but there was I would say a few weeks where everything kind of just stopped, and people are wondering, all right, what are we? No one knew what their budgets were going to go towards at the time for marketing. No one knows what to expect for this. I mean, there's no guide on COVID-19.
You mean you didn't have like a hidden one there?
No,
Nowhere?
I only had one for COVID-18, so it was a year old. It wasn't going to work.
That's funny. So tell us a little bit about your in-house studio, because it's still something that if people don't necessarily want you to come out to a job site or go film somewhere because a lot of other places are closed, like what can you do in that area? What kind of products? Is there a specialty product? Is or something you just don't do?
Yeah, so I specialize in a lot of still life photography. That's what a lot of my agency work in Orlando was, whereas my video background comes more from a documentary approach. And so when it comes to the home studio, a lot of the times it's being used for whether it be e-commerce photography for all those images you see on like Amazon and online shopping places, to even just marketing and like specialized photography in the sense where we'll build sets. So we have a space for that, and I mean we've shot from tiny products like jewelry to large scale For us, a lot of it has been like, guitars, rims. I mean, it's all sorts of things from big to small. And I think the first product I had to shoot that I could not fit in the home studio was large machinery. That
Okay,
was, I mean, you weren't getting it through doorways anyways.
sure.
So, which I was fine because I did not want to have to try and move that around, and it probably would have been very expensive. So that was
Absolutely.
much better when they do on location. But a lot of the other things we are set up to do everything from green screen to colored backgrounds to on white on black backgrounds. Um, and it honestly, it's great in a way. It allows us to offer a very affordable option
Hmm.
for projects that don't need a full size studio, because there's a few studios I work with for those projects, and there's generally not every project needs to be shot in there. So to have
Sure.
an affordable option that I can offer up has been a great thing for me to have.
That's awesome. And do you collaborate with anyone locally? Like, do you work with anyone locally on projects, or is it pretty much just you and your business, or do you collaborate with any other local businesses or chamber members on
Yeah,
projects?
yeah, no, I do collaborate. I have a few video production companies that basically, in a way, we kind of work together in the sense of sometimes we'll help each other out on each other's projects. And while I guess you could argue we're competitors, it feels like none of us really see it that way. We all have our own different approach to storytelling, our own different visual style. We all obviously have our specialties. And that's really why you would choose one of us, is you like the way we would tell a story, the way we would convey your message to your audience, and the visual style behind it. So that kind of allows us to, help one another and bring someone on when we need to scale up for a larger project while not
Hmm.
having that large scale crew on payroll all the time, in the sense of not every project needs 25 people.
Absolutely. I still, it's crazy to me that you can go from like 25 people on set to five or two, and still be as effective. But that's, I mean, that's crazy. As far as like, because I feel like here in Volusia County, and one of the things that I've absolutely loved, which is why I asked you about collaborating, is that I do feel like, yes, we're supposed to be competitors, right? But I do see a lot of like industry professionals that do a lot of the same things, still working together, still impacting the community. And so I was just curious if that was something that was the same in your industry. So it's good to know that you guys are collaborating as well and that you feel that way.
Yeah, I would say most of the people I know that, I mean, have worked in this industry and worked on it for a long period of time. It's like any industry, it's a relationship. It's a business of relationships.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, we're all here honestly at the end of the day to just try and create good stories, good content for our clients. And it's kind of like a rise and sea where we all rise up together with it.
That's really awesome. So tell me a little bit about drones. Do you work with drones, or is it mainly cameras like what we see in the background, and just regular video cameras?
So generally, it is regular cameras. However, with COVID-19, um, when it was approaching, there was obviously some concern there, and I used some of the downtime when those shoots got canceled to actually study up and pass the Part 107 certification from the FAA. So I am now actually licensed to fly drones.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, that's been really exciting to offer. Because for the longest time, I I got involved back when it was a bit more of the Wild West. The FAA had no guidelines, and they kept kind of delaying things. Had a drone for a while, didn't stay up to date with the technology because it was just moving so fast. I kind of wanted to see where the FAA was going to go with it, and started using other licensed pilots on projects that I trusted. And now I got the license just because there was a few times where it was becoming a challenge of scheduling. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's great because now I still have these licensed pilots I can bring on projects where the scope of it might be larger, where they can be off getting the drone shots we need for our aerials, while our part of the crew is off getting shots otherwhere, and allows us to stay on schedule. And I mean, as you all know, staying on schedule is very important.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I will say you were early and you did test this platform way before most people are like on like 10 minutes before. So I really appreciate that I wasn't sitting here by myself. Thank you, Austin.
I mean,
Tell
the
me.
last thing I want is technology not wanting to cooperate, which I mean, as we all know, it still tries to find its way. So always trying to be prepared and being ready to adapt for that.
Absolutely. So tell me, I know we talked about you have a 3D printer, right? And
Yeah.
tell me, so what you were printing some masks. Tell me a little bit about what you were doing. I know you're not currently, but go ahead, fill us
Yeah.
in.
I'm not currently printing because I did end up running out of filament, which is probably for the better because the printer is right back there,
Uh-huh.
and it's a little loud. So I was working with some health officials and some doctors to pretty much test a few 3D printed designs they were going through, and I actually have one of the ones we decided on here, which is
That
just
is cool.
3D printed plastic with basically an attachment at the front that we had filters that would be placed into. Let's see. And
So
this is just one of the
what's interesting is like you were guys you were my English is not very good looking. So you were working on personal protective gear, and I mean because you're trying to revitalize your business, and so go ahead, keep talking about it. It's just interesting that you guys were doing that and that you were doing that.
yeah. So I mean, it was just honestly it was again during that period where all the shoots got canceled, and I was like, all right, I know there's going to be a moment where people figure things out. It's going to be a little slow for us. So how can I at least do something to help the community? And that's kind of what led to this. Funny enough, it came through a Reddit post. A doctor working with Advent Health was looking for people that could have printers because I mean, this mask here they take 7 hours to print. So
Wow.
yeah, quite a bit of time. So I was able to print a few. Having only one printer and a limited amount of the material obviously affected that. But I was able to luckily have some connections with maker spaces, which if you don't know what a maker space is, it's basically a large space for like 3D printers, laser cut in, just a space where a bunch of creatives get together to make stuff. It's kind of like a nerdy heaven. And so for that, I luckily had known some of those because earlier in the year I had been learning more about creating custom rigs for some of our projects,
Mm-hmm.
and so being able to have those connections to kind of point like these people can help to help try and keep the production of personal protective gear up and going. I mean, just honestly, just felt good, and that was really just trying to do my part to help any way I can.
That's awesome. Because that was my
And
next question was going to be, is there anything that you're passionate about or any nonprofit? But really, I think, just doing even that, it's such a big part, right? Because there is the uncertainty of our first responders and our frontline people, even at the supermarket, you know what I mean? Like receiving merchandise every
hmm,
single day so that we can continue to be safe, whether or not they have that gear. Can you put it up close so we can see it?
yeah, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things, like you said, you want to do your part to kind of help out. I went to, funny enough, I went to school for a short time period. Let's see, there we go.
You can
I actually
that.
went. hmm, I went to a school for a short time period to go through the EMT and paramedic program,
That's
and
awesome.
so like I mean, and while I didn't continue with it because I mean honestly, I just have a larger passion for this. Um, just getting to work alongside those first responders, it was like it felt like the best thing I could do to at least give back to them and what they do on a day to day basis.
Awesome. So, it's actually, isn't it EMT week? Like,
I,
appreciation week. It is. So we appreciate all of our EMTs and first responders. And of course, we're getting ready to go into Memorial Day, and that's a whole other thing. So to
yeah,
everybody who served, thank you for your service. I know right now, just it's that window is bigger. So that's really awesome that you did that. That's really cool. I
yeah,
didn't know you had a 3D printer. Now I know.
and didn't you do something as well with creating boxes, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, so what we did, and I can't take credit for it, but our Fernandina Beach location created these sneeze guards, this acrylic protection, and these intubation boxes, and fast signs all around the United States, and I'm sure even some of our international brands were uh, producing these and donating them. So, of course, with our connection with the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce, we donated a shield for the entrance of Halifax Health, which is our community hospital, and an intubation box. So essentially, if somebody comes in and they're under critical care, they're going to need to be worked on right away. The chances of them being able to protect that person accurately is going to be challenging. So it's a big acrylic box, plexiglass, and it sits over that person, and you can put your hands in and work on them. So it was very rewarding to be able to do that and make a small impact locally. But I think, with all of our other stores kicking in and doing that in their areas, it really allows us to make a bigger impact. So it's awesome.
That's awesome to hear. And I think that's one thing I was just excited to see what everyone else has kind of been doing to help out.
Yeah, our community is amazing. I mean, we have a weekly meeting with our FASTSIGNS International CEO, Catherine Monson, and she shares success stories and community service stories every single week of things that franchisees are doing around the US and around the world, which is really awesome. But it's great, to be obviously connected to all these business people here in Volusia County and get to see all the things that people are doing that's impacting our community. It's awesome. Jenny Craig, which I know you know her, they made sanitizer and gave it away to first responders, and really, I think they gave it away to a couple of people, didn't to everyone for a little while.
Yeah, they were donating it for quite a while. Yeah, I mean, I was just over there actually talking with them recently, funny enough, and yeah, they said for a while they were just donating, and they've been, I can't remember the exact number, but when I was over there, it was just everywhere you looked, gallons of hand sanitizer. It's just crazy to think just how overnight for them they changed, and
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it was all to just help the community.
it's amazing. So I just went and bought 2 gallons and some spray bottles for each one of our stations because we want to support local. And I need to get her on here and have them talk
Yeah,
about how they did it. Her and I are both chamber members of, I believe, of both Daytona and Holly Hill. And I think she sits on the board of Holly Hill, and we've never met face to face, I don't think. But I follow her on social media. She excites me because she's so positive.
yes, she is just a ball of positive energy,
I
and
love
it's amazing.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to reach out to her, and I'm going to try and get her on one of these so they can share a little bit about what they've done. So I think it's really awesome that you did that you've been able to connect people. Cause like you said, you guys ran out of ink. Our industry is running out of plexiglass. So, the next challenge is, where do you find the materials to be
Yeah.
able to continue to provide these services or these donations or what have you? So do you foresee that you'll be able to get some more ink and be able to finish some of those?
Yeah, so the plastic filament that we'll get for it, I know on the bright side, the reason it's getting harder to get is because I know they were making it easier to get for these hospitals. So it's, while we may not be getting it, the hospitals that need it are at least getting access to it. And I think there's going to be a slight window where it's hard to get, and then I think hopefully production will pick back up. The nice thing is there's a lot of smaller companies that make the filament as well, so it's just a matter of finding them, I think.
Awesome. And somebody did say it is EMS appreciation.
Okay, good to know.
So good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you guys do, because they definitely put themselves out there for us, and they didn't get to close down and shut down and keep each
Yeah,
other safe, and they just had to go out and do what they had to do every single day because nothing changes in the world of emergencies, right?
yeah.
So obviously you made this mask, but what else do you use that 3D printer for? Like, what are some of the things that you're creating with that?
I should have grabbed something actually, and sadly, it is not in arm's reach. But a large portion of what we use it for is creating custom solutions for a lot of our product work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all those ads where you see the cereal pouring the milk or the shrimp flying through the butter in the air. All that obviously has to happen. And one way of doing it, of course, is, grab a handful of one thing and a handful of another thing and throw them together and hope they hit. Problem is that takes a lot of time. And if you have to do multiple products of that, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. So the thing here is we basically have been taking what's called a stepper motor and building a rig that will pretty much a catapult that will launch it, and we'll create custom pieces out of plastic, 3D printing them. And that's just one of the things we'll do with it to launch things, pour liquids, turntables, to just show all these fancy moves on a product.
That's awesome. So in the meantime, while you don't have ink, if you have stuff to throw, I'm happy to wear a mask and be your thrower of stuff.
I will warn you, even with all the custom rigs, it still just gets super messy.
I just need things to do. I'm going crazy. Are you going COVID-19 crazy yet? Like, do you feel like?
Yeah, there was I've read a lot more books, like actual just novels to sit down and enjoy for once. And
are you a novel reader, or do you read like self-help?
For the longest time, I was very technical, and I've kind of getting back into reading more novels recently.
Awesome.
Just now, the kind of, I guess, as a way to exercise that creative muscle, as another creative outlet that isn't always shooting photos or video. Because occasionally I need to sit down and let the camera batteries charge. So it's a good way to pass time when we wait for maybe the lighting to get perfect on set.
Oh, awesome. Well, I know you and I, we actually had not done a one-on-one like this, like a sit down over coffee or anything like that. But we've, had I've had the privileges of hanging out with you at a business after hours, a chamber event. Of course, we get to network every single Wednesday together. So, are you excited about the next business after hours that they announced that is actually going to be with people?
Did they announce it?
No, I'm saying when they
I was really excited there. I am definitely looking forward to seeing everyone. Again, it's like I said, it's getting a little cabin fever. I feel like in The Shining right now a little bit. Luckily, I don't have a typewriter, and I'm not going that crazy. But I did rewatch it, so maybe that's why I feel that way.
You didn't join us for business after hours today. We had a networking meeting today, and it was networking like speed dating almost, right? So
Okay.
you had to go around the room. So they were all on a platform, and then it would jump like 3 people into a room, or 2 people into a room, or 5, whatever. It was really, really neat. So it's nice to connect with everybody, but it's not the same. Like,
It isn't.
so I feel like now is a good opportunity as we start to open up to have those one-on-ones. So if you want to do a one-on-one, we'll grab another person from our leads. I think three is a crowd. It's still good. It's under 10, no?
I mean, 3. Yes, I did the math. 3 is under 10. So
No, I'm saying, like, are they allowed to?
I
Thanks.
totally misunderstood that.
Did they? Well, I'm saying, like, they said no more groups, no more, no gatherings under 10. So if we grabbed another 1 or 2, technically we'd still be okay, and we can network once a week.
That's one way to look at it for sure. You're on to something.
I'm like dying to get out now. I am open, so we're open for business. But
that's great to hear.
And we have done some beach stuff on the weekends, on the boat and stuff like that, and that's been fun. But I do miss my business friends because that's such a big part of my life. So I feel like I need my people, my Wednesday people.
It feels very quiet without them.
It does.
And it's crazy how I feel like you don't realize just how big of an impact at times it can make until you're 8, 9 weeks and you're just ready to see people again.
Yeah. I'm ready to see Bill Partington stand up and give his elevator speech, and everybody after him get up.
Yeah. Every time. Just starts the trend.
I could be right next to him, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a rebel. I'm gonna sit.
The worst part is when you sit in front of him, you don't get up, and then he does, and you're like, should have done that.
Yeah, he's such a professional, right? Or when, like, obviously I was the chair of that group, last year. And then Janelle follows up, and Janelle's so professional, and all I ever do is giggle and laugh. And people, hey, be quiet, I'm ready to start. And I'm like, that's great.
She's taken a good job.
She's doing such a good job, isn't she?
Yes.
So,
Man, I miss seeing everyone's. I mean, I know we see our faces on the week. I mean, virtually, but like you said, it's not the same.
it isn't the same. I just I'm ready for my RBC hug reunion.
That's
For
what we'll
sure.
have to call it.
Austin's gonna be like, I am not going to that meeting. Carmen is giving out hugs. I'll wear a mask, I promise.
There you go.
Austin, any big plans for the long weekend?
Honestly, we have a little bit of editing to catch up on, and then I think some sun to catch up on as well.
Yeah. So we have a long weekend ahead of us, and hopefully everybody will get out and they'll comply with all of the things that are in place to keep us all safe. If somebody wanted to contact you to do some visual graphics and audio and stuff and videos, where would they contact you at?
The best way is to reach out through our website, wemakevisuals.com, or through email at hello@wemakevisuals.com. But on there, we basically have a application, discovery form to really learn a lot about your business and make sure that we're the right fit to help pretty much tackle whatever problem that you're having that we think video can solve.
Awesome. Austin, before we leave, because we're just getting at the 40-minute mark, what was your COVID-19 life lesson, personal and professional?
Oh, that is a tough one. I feel like personal was definitely the read more, because like I said, I've now gone through 5 books. And yeah, I've tried to make it now a goal to actually set time aside, rather than just waste on something like Netflix in the evening or not. But rather,
Good job.
yeah, like I said, I've tried. Netflix still finds its way in occasionally.
Well, just so you know, they say like highly successful people read on average at the least 10 books a year.
Well, I'm halfway there, so hopefully I can continue it without COVID as a motivator. So
There you go.
and
Personal
then
goal.
professional, I think the main thing is, I think that a lot of businesses have been learning is, that you have to adapt. You can't get stuck doing the same old always. You always have to look at ways that you can change and improve, sometimes faster than you will expect.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for having this one-on-one with me. I'm sorry we haven't gotten to do it face-to-face. We will, but I appreciate you doing it with me this way. And I appreciate you. I miss you. I'm so glad that you guys have been able to, I say you guys because I just assume there's a big team behind you. So I don't
You're
know.
over there, so
Not the 25, the 5. But I'm glad that you guys were able to adapt, that you guys that you were able to do something to give back to the community. That's really awesome. That makes me very proud of you. I think small businesses do that. As we become more successful, we need to use our platforms to help other people. So that's really cool that you did that. I think that's impressive. Share it on Facebook so that I can share it.
All right, will do. And thank you for having me. Like you said, it's great to see you, even though it's not in person again.
Woo.
I know.
Coming soon.
We'll all do our part, stay healthy and safe, and then we can go back to normal.
Absolutely. I'm kind of hoping that the next business after hours is at like game time or something, because we remember that after hours at game time we have so much fun. I'm like, that's what kind of the
There's so much to do.
I feel like that's the kind of after hours we need, is something that just allows everybody to have fun, a good time, and just smile and laugh. And again, I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the one-on-one. And if you need some sort of visual graphics, call Austin. Check him out on his webpage. I'll put all the stuff at the bottom of the YouTube page so everybody can check you out. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on board. It was a ton of fun.
Awesome. Have a good one, Austin. I hope you enjoy your long weekend and stay safe.
Take care.
Stay safe, and safe. And wash your hands.
Yes, wash your hands if we've learned anything.
Ciao.
Bye.